Hi y'all, it's your boy. Before we get started, as in the last video, my settings are not 100% where they need to be. I apologize. The game is a little bit louder than me, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, but I hope you'll forgive me. Enjoy, and I'll see you on the.
What is up, everybody? I just got done with the very emotionally charged last episode. We beat Nito. I didn't really talk a whole lot about the game. I ended up beating the bastard the first try. I'm not really sure how I managed to do it, but I did. Um, Certified Angus beef, can cooler. Won this in a trivia contest. I'm still cutting meat. Still the wizard. I'm pretty good at it, but I like to think I get a little bit better every day. Let's talk about some pleasant stuff this time. I'm gonna go down to the bed of chaos. He sucks, but that's the last bitch. That's the last bitch. We're on down. Um, I thought about maybe doing the humanity farm, but I think it might just be fun to fight the centipede demon. So I guess we'll do that. Centipede demon looks really cool. I was really stoked when they brought him back. I have seen Elden Ring Night Rain played. I have not played it. It is on my list. Um, but I always really enjoyed that fight. Cosmetically, it's a really cool boss. Um, so that's what we'll do. I hope everybody has been well. Um, Unfortunately, I'm old enough to know better than that. Uh, but we'll make it through. Today's episode, we'll talk. We'll title it "Love," and it's not because I love the bed of chaos, but we'll talk about um, what it means to care. Um, and I'm going to try my absolute best to focus on the positives of it because I spent a long time as a youth. You can go back. I've had this fucking channel for years and years. I legitimately made this channel when I was a young teenager, and I had a lot of videos talking about world events, hot topics as they came up. I've always formatted my videos this way. You can literally, some of them are delisted only because they involve other people or maybe some personal details that I didn't feel was appropriate for me to share. Um, but the vast majority are still on here for anybody to watch. A lot of them are cringe. A lot of them come from a world of immaturity, but I plan on leaving them, just because it allows. It's kind of a glimpse into the journey of me, Logan the man, growing up. How I perceived things back then and how I perceive things now. But if you don't want to watch those, I can tell you that a lot of that perspective came from inexperience and maturity. Um, I think more often than not, my heart was in the right place, but I know now, probably more than I ever have, that life is incredibly complicated, and there's no way around that. And there is no such thing as a black and white issue, pretty much ever. So, in hindsight, and as I've grown, I know that I was a very negative person. I was a very angry person. Um, and I also know through hindsight that it's not because I wanted to be that way. I think a lot of the times that I was really unhappy was because I did not want to be that way. I wanted to be um, wanted to love and be loved. And uh, have a community, have my little place in the world. Uh, as I've gotten older, I've found that. But that's not easy to accept as a young person. Now that I understand myself somewhat better, I know that I love very deeply. Usually not so much for myself as others, my beautiful girlfriend, my wonderful family, my dearest, irreplaceable friends and mentors. My life is nothing without those bonds and those people. Uh, and so, why do you share this one? Well, the reason why I tell you all of this, is because I have also, for years and years, I've been surrounded by people. And if the shoe fits, wears it, but I guarantee you, you know somebody just like the one I'm about to describe. I'm just an asshole. I don't like people. I can't stand people. I like animals more than I do people. That's just the way I am. And sometimes that honest to goodness may just be rude. I accept that. I'll tell you 9 times out of 10, everybody that I've talked to that says anything like that is an absolutely wonderful sweetheart of a person. Don't kill me, Mark. Let me get away. Who has been really fucking hurt and really let down by the people in their life. So, I do get it. But you don't have to stay that way. Not if you really don't want to. And so I guess my request, if you would, is to try, if you can, to choose love. A lot more fun that way. A couple days ago, and this is not pleasant, but a couple days ago, I was with one of the best friends I've ever had. He's been on the channel. My little boo, my cat, he nearly 15 years old. He had gotten so sick that we ended up having to put him to sleep. And I promised him, as he's gotten sick and his health has declined, I promised him that I would be with him until the very end. And so, as we were at the vet and they were getting ready to give him the medicine to help see him off, I was sitting right beside him, holding him, petting on him, loving on him, talking to him. He was not going to leave this world with me not by his side. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in the entirety of my life. I've lost friends, pets, love, relationships. As we all will. And I can understand how easy it would be to take the lead from being hurt or feeling lost and saying never again instead of to push your heart out there to pull back. And for a time, I accidentally kicked him in the ass. We'll just consider this extended BM. I have a very, very dear friend who for the last several years has been in a relationship and not a good one. And when he and I sit and we talk about it, it's very easy for me to understand and relate to. Because I, as many of us have, was guilty of giving my heart to somebody that didn't take care of it, didn't want to take care of it, and lingered for way too long. And fortunately, he experienced much the same thing. And when I talk to him now, he's very much of the opinion that that part of his life is behind him. Having a partner, being in a relationship, he sees no point in it. He thinks it can only hurt him. And I don't think that that's true. As much as I would tell him, I would tell you. For as many as there are out there who might legitimately fuck you around and hurt you, there are just as many who will love you and take care of you and be there for you. We are, as people, and I am a very solitary person, and that's just part of me. For as much as I do enjoy being around people, my people, my social battery gets drained. I know that for me to be right mentally and to be taken care of, or take care of myself, I guess I should say, I have to make time for me to be by myself. Just the way it is. Ain't no getting around it. Doesn't mean I care any less for anyone. but it's got to be that way. But I also know that the more time I spend by myself, the opposite is true too. The more I will crave for uh, that companionship, that love, the company, the fun. And so, once again, I don't have all the answers. Just as somebody who has learned almost everything the hard way. Consider what I'm telling you. That's all I say. It's done wonders for me. It's done wonders for me. You know, unfortunately, some people are incapable of reciprocating that level of trust or whatever. There's a lot of people out there that won't take care of you. There's quite a few that will. So choose love. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's throw this. Check this guy. Green Titan. Probably won't need that guy. Let's see. I'm genuinely not sure. Oh, there it is. Dark Souls is such a fun game. You know, I was looking at. I actually, a few months ago, I had an issue where I had to re-download Steam. So I had to delete Steam. What I did not know at the time was that if you do that, it deletes your whole library, or at least I may mess something up. I ended up doing it. I have had to re-download a ton of games. Well, we'll have to re-download a ton of games. I haven't really so far yet. I've been playing a ton of Total War Warhammer 3. I'm probably going to gush on that one in the next episode. But goddamn, that game is fun. So I re-downloaded it right off rip. And then my girlfriend, I got her to try Rainbow Six Siege. So I played it. We had a lot of fun on that one. And then when I told her this morning, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to record some YouTube videos. Because I've shown her the channel. And I said, and I gave her a list of stuff I wanted to play. I said, what would you think would be a good idea? And she said, Dark Souls sounds like fun. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? She's exactly right. I've not played Dark Souls. I don't remember what's up here. This ain't the right way, but we'll check it out. Well, I guess this will be fine. I can go this way. Long time since I've gone through Lost Eyes. But here I am. Unfortunately, for all of the topics that I wanted to talk about, they weren't really conducive to to this type of game because I suck. Well, I haven't played it in so long. I suck, and so I'm keep getting distracted because I have to keep dialing back in. But you talk about a masterpiece of a series. know, I still, when I think about best games ever, uh, Dark Souls 1, Bloodborne, um, they do come to mind. Dark Souls has a lot of issues with it, but when I think about a game that I love the entire idea behind the concept of Dark Souls. Uh, and for years, as I've talked to people about it and tried to encourage people to give it a try, I've always heard, oh, that Dark Souls, that's that really hard game. Um, you know, I'm not that good. I can't win. You know, and Saint Riot made a hilarious video about Sekiro years ago, talking about this very same topic. But um, these games are not made to uh, punish people or make them feel less than or make them feel like they can't do it. Genuinely, uh, this game and what I think is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard of conceptually teaches you that if you try hard enough, long enough, uh, you can make it. I absolutely uh, I adore that concept. When I first started playing Bloodborne, I loved that, or I hated it about the game. Actually, I remember uh, my best friend Jake, who's been on the channel several times. When he come over after school, and you know, I remember him sitting with me for 2 hours because I tried to be Father Gascoigne. And that was really the first From Software game that I had played a great deal. I, being a young teenager, when I played Dark Souls the first time, I did get frustrated and I quit because I wasn't good at it and I kept getting killed. I was like, this has, you know, this is just hard for the sake of being hard. Now, son of a bitch, I ran right into the fucking hole. Oh, I love the bed of chaos. It's so fun. It's all right. This makes for a long tangent anyway. But I remember the elation, and I'm so glad because he actually was with me when I finally beat the fucker. And it made me so excited that I jumped up and down. It is hard to replicate that sense of accomplishment, um, and that's really cool. It's one of the most rewarding parts of life. You know, the more you try at something, you learn, you adapt, you overcome. That's the human struggle. I told you in the first video back, I said we were going to talk about the human condition. That's the human condition. To try and either fail or fail until you succeed. Anything that's really worth doing, you're probably not going to get right on the first time. Sometimes you will. Hell, you the viewer, the listener hearing this right now, you might be a prodigy, a genius. You can do everything right on the first try. Ain't nothing shit to you. I'll tell you for myself, that's never been my experience. Never. And so, I appreciate the concept of, you know, context clues, trial and error, paying attention to details. These games aren't really hard in the sense that you have to have super fast reaction time, or you have to be able to press a button really quickly, or you have to have really good vision. The only requirement really is they ask you to pay a little bit of attention and learn from what doesn't work. And I think that that's really cool. And all of the FromSoft games that I've played are that way. Um, I haven't gotten to play Ace Combat yet. I really wanted to try, not Ace Combat. What am I thinking? The robot game, Armored Core. I'm sorry, I got that totally backwards. I have not gotten to play Armored Core yet. Probably next time they have it on sale, I'll give that a try. We'll see. We'll see if I'm any decent at it that I can stand to record myself playing it and putting it on YouTube. But I imagine, from what I can tell, it's a lot of the same way. They have a very tight system where they challenge you to learn and adapt. And really, when you talk about games, not all of them have to be that way. But the vast majority of all games I have ever played have been. Oh, yeah, you can't make that jump shit. That one was a little delayed. One of my favorite games of all time, or I guess I should say series, even though many in the series I would consider some of my favorite games, is Dynasty Warriors. Chances are, if you're seeing this video, pretty high likelihood that the first video of mine that you've seen was either me talking about or playing either Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors. Are those games mechanically, conceptually difficult in any way? No, not really. You know, as I played, and I encourage you to watch because they were a ton of fun to do. But the playthroughs I have done of those games on the really hard difficulties, they're really not even that hard. They don't challenge you really to think so much as it's just a grinder. Um, you know, the enemies do a whole lot more damage than you do and have a whole lot more health than you do, and that's pretty much the size of it. That in and of itself is kind of artificial difficulty. That's not an obstacle that you have to think your way out of, or come up with a plan to conquer. You just kind of have to grind at it till you get it. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But I much prefer the types of games like a Dark Souls or a Devil May Cry, or let me think of some other good examples. StarCraft, to an extent. Um, well, StarCraft is very much so also one of my favorite. StarCraft 2, I should say. Um, have still yet to play the original, but I'm going to at some point when I eventually make time to play all these awesome games that I haven't had a chance to yet. Um, but StarCraft 2 is very much so a game that rewards critical thinking, and sometimes it does boil down to pressing some buttons really fast when you talk about, maybe the APM of some of these professional players and being able to do things very quickly. But by and large, there is a lot of strategy, micromanaging, resource management, um, judgment calls to be made in that game that can reward a very good player. Yeah, you're supposed to go close instead of long. I remember now. I hated this side. I should have done this one first. Alright, the longer that this one goes on, the more I think artificial difficulty might actually be the needed name of this one. Okay. Oh. This shit totally made me lose my train of thought. I guess I should say, difficulty does not equal fun. Especially in my mind, when I think about stuff that's really not so fun, I do kind of think about the harder difficulties for games like Dynasty Warriors, where you take a game that is still mechanically super easy, but just kind of make it unfair. You know, that to me is not the right way to go about it. Now, I've played the shit out of them. I've played several of those games at the hardest difficulty, just as something fun to do. But you know, you can watch, especially the Dynasty Warriors playthrough, which was one of the last ones I done before I stopped making videos for a while, and you can see how frustrating some of those sections really get. I much prefer Dark Souls. You know, you can go through New Game Plus and keep your levels, your equipment, your upgrades, and they will. They'll make enemies have more health and do more damage. But New Game Plus is almost always easier than a first playthrough. Not just because you have the strong items, but because you've done the work of figuring out a boss's attacks and patterns. And it's just a really different way to play the same game. The difficulty is all in mastering. And I guess that to me is really cool. So when I think about the best games for me ever, these games are at the top of the list because they are masters at that. Some of them are easier than others, but do the swipe here. Fell for the trap. And I am so sorry. I know that there are people that are going to be watching this shit that are just cringing. I've never been good at the Bed of Chaos. I've always hated this fucking thing. I'll probably die at least one more time, because I have probably gotten from this spot specifically to the bug probably once, ever, without dying. So we'll give her the old college try for sure here. Toxic. Excuse you. Break the deal. have new editing software. If I can figure it out, I'm gonna put the picture of Ben Affleck smoking the cigarette in here. Oh my god, this is terrible. Um, I guess I will take this time, since I seem to be in excess of it today. Talk about, and I may have to put this in the description because this dude is he's so passionate. I'm going to talk about you, dude, and this is not to make fun of you. I promise you, I find this, I respect this immensely. But the guy who currently has the record for the Dark Souls speedrun, I just watched the most recent PB he got. I think it was 1924. You know, and of course, as always, even though it's the fastest it's ever been done, that is to say, he beat the entirety of Dark Souls 1 in 19 minutes and 24 seconds. It's going to take me longer than 19 minutes and 24 seconds here to beat the fucking Bed of Chaos. But I enjoy his enthusiasm and how much he cares so much. You know, he is so worked up in this last one, and because of a single mistake, that by the end of it, he is legitimately crying. He is in tears. And the fact he's like, oh well, I still got the record, and you know, he gets over it quickly there, but you know that in his mind, he's chasing that carrot. He's chasing the perfection. It was the best it's ever been, but he knows it can be better, and it tears at him. And there's like 30 seconds there. You can hear the tears in his eyes. I think he might even say, "I'm crying," or something to that effect. But I love that energy. I love that passion. You know, and we can all laugh, you know, when we see that clip of the dude smashing his fucking keyboard and the keys flying all over the place. That's a little bit different. But when I think about, you know, once again, dedication and trying and making it work, that dude, he really impresses me, and he's really cool. And dude, you're a hell of a player. Once again, I don't say any of this to pick fun at you. Do a great job, bro. And I will continue to watch your runs as you perfect your route. Please. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding. But I will try and find that dude's record and link it in the description of this video. I adore speedrunning. The concept of it, taking an experience and breaking it to the maximum degree through trial and error and practice and dedication. I think I enjoy speedrunning for the same reason why I enjoyed the Dark Souls games. And I think that there is a huge crossover there. And some of my favorite speedrunners either currently do or have speedran at least one game in the series. In the case of and of course he's extremely popular now, but I remember watching him years and years ago as Distortion 2, who I watched his, and I have no doubt in my mind he had to have been 16, 15, something in there when he did that, when he first got the Dark Souls 2 world record for all bosses. And that's not an easy run. That is a very long playthrough with a lot of room for it to go wrong. And he live streamed it, and it's a VOD of him live streaming it and talking to the chat as he goes. And I'll always remember some guy asked him, like, when are you going to get a new computer? And he's like, well, I don't know. He said, right now I'm just streaming this game, and I'm looking at getting a new computer, but it's really expensive. I don't know if it's worth it. And now he makes a fucking living Twitch streaming, playing games, and I'm really excited for him. But he speed ran every single From Software game and a multitude of others. And I'd watched them all at the time years ago, but another series that I really like, and I think he likes all of them, but I'm not sure. I know he at least likes BioShock Infinite, and he speed ran that game quite a bit. Did have the world record once upon a time. Different guy has it now. But I was watching some of his playthroughs of that, and as we all do, amazing trap ahead. Fuck you, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. This shit is like torture. But I was skimming through the comments, and he was talking about somebody asked him, how do you decide what games you're going to speedrun? And he said, I just do games that I casually enjoy. Games that he plays exactly as they're intended, likes, and then takes the time to, well, shit, he only has 4 health. Get nade, son. I'll finish this point before we end the video, because I might as well, because we've been going for some time. But we got but he takes any game, and I'm sure this is true for the vast majority of people that speedrun. They take a game that they just, from the bottom of their hearts, delights them, and they think to themselves, how can I take this to the maximum efficiency for fun? And that's really, I really enjoy those types of videos, regardless of the game. I watch them all the time. They're a huge source of comfort to me. But with that being said, we might as well end it here. Good God. I appreciate everybody. I hope you've enjoyed me dying to the bed of chaos over and over again. I did destroy 2 bosses back to back at the start. Choose love, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.